Shooting and reloading for the 9mm double tap self-defense. William Hovey Smith, 2014. I'm the author of Backyard Deer Hunting, but we do occasionally get into self-defense issues.
This is Hovey Smith, the backyard sportsman, and you see some rather unusual stuff on the table in front of me. This huge hunk of metal is an old herder's single-stage reloading press that I bought back, I guess in the early 1970s. And this uses single-stage dies for reloading rifle and pistol cartridges. And what we're going to use it for is to reload the 9mm parabellum right here. Now the 9mm is used in the DoubleTap defense pistol. And as you see, this is missing a little something. Barrels, for example. Alright, and here are same. This particular pistol has two sets of barrels. One 45 ACP, which I covered in a previous video, and this one here in 9mm. Now the 45 ACP is quite punishing in full power loads. So in the previous video we showed you how to load round ball loads in black powder as well as 200 grain cast lead bullets to get a softer shooting load than the commercial cartridges. Now I don't know how this gun will shoot with the 9mm target loads that I have right here, but we're going to find out. And these happen to be Winchesters, and they use a 115 grain full metal jacketed bullet. And I happen to have 125 grain full metal jacketed bullets left over from years and years ago when I was reloading the 38 Super. So what we're going to do is do some function testing with 9mm with the factory loads, reload with these 125 grain bullets and black powder, as well as round ball, and see if we can get some decent shooting lower cost loads for this gun that aren't quite so terrible on the hand. An interesting point that we found in the previous video, that at close range, like 7 yards or so, it really didn't make any difference on practice rounds whether we were shooting the round ball or the much more expensive cast bullets or the very much more expensive factory rounds. The impacts were more or less the same. So, okay, maybe you can make up some real inexpensive practice rounds for your pistol. And so that's what we're going to try to do. As you see, we now have our loading press mounted on a bench. Now this particular bench I purchased a few days ago for $4 at a yard sale, and it's worth every penny of it. Okay, this is a small thing and it's all I need. What did we load? Okay, now this is the 9mm, and these particular bullets were some that had some corrosion on them. So okay, I want to go ahead and shoot these up. And these bullets are loaded with 8 grains of triple F black powder. These are small cases, so they just don't hold very much powder. And for the round ball loads, I used a .350 round ball and 9 grains of triple FG black powder in this load. So these will be very comfortable. Now I got these cases by shooting these Winchester 115 grain bulleted target loads, so-called. And yeah, these were uncomfortable to shoot. They were not as bad as the 45 ACP in full power loads, but they definitely gave you a sting on the hand, and yeah, 15 of these was more than enough for me to do through a session. But that's why I'm working with these black powder loads, to give the user some low recoiling loads that he can actually practice with. Because we learned several things out about the pistol. As in the 45 ACP, these two barrels shoot to markedly different points of aim and elevation. Whoa. Yeah, really do. And we'll find out exactly how much when we get out and target these a little later. We also found that in the trigger pull mechanism, you had to be sure that when you went through the trigger pull cycle that you pulled all the way back and you released all the way forward, or the trigger would not work. So in the heat of combat, yeah, you've got to remember to go click, click, all the way. This is a reason that you need to practice with any self-defense pistol. Yeah, you need to find these kind of things out beforehand. So we're going to go out in a few minutes and shoot some of these things, and we'll have some footage of that. Now what we're going to do here with the 9mm double tap is that we are going to shoot a group of loads, mixed loads, first at this bullseye right here. Now we'll start off with the round ball loads in black powder, and then we'll go to the Remington 125 grain loads with black powder, and then the factory 115 grain loads. Following that, we'll shoot this target here with the round ball loads, and this target here with my reloads with a 125 grain bullet. In each case, I'll be using these different targets here as the points of aim. I'm having some functional problems with the double tap, and what these are it's taking more than 2 strikes, sometimes 3, to actually fire the primers. Now this is not only happening with my reloads, but it's also happening with factory ammunition. So I have some factory loads here, and I want to illustrate the problem to you. Okay. I'm now using the rubberized overgrips to sort of save my hand a little bit. Okay, that one went. That one went. All right. Okay, so out of 4 shots with the factory loads, we had 1 misfire. I'm thinking that the mainspring must be weakening. We'll see if we can get it to fire on the second shot. Okay, now that fired the barrel that's already fired. Now we'll see if we can get it to go. Okay, went that time. There is one other possibility. Since I am shooting black powder loads, perhaps the cases are not really seating all the way down into the chamber. So we'll clean the barrels and we'll see if that makes an impact. It may. All right. Well, I've given the gun every chance I can. Now I've just cleaned the barrel, so there's nothing in the forward part of the chamber that would tend to support the cartridge and keep it from firing with a strike of the firing pin. Plus, what we've discovered is that this is not unique to one barrel or the other. Pull with both fingers. Okay, that went. That went. These grips really do help, by the way. That went. That went. All right. So it does seem to be that the problem was the chamber was dirty. Okay. Had one that did not fire before. Okay. See if it'll fire now. Okay. Well, with a clean barrel and factory ammo, yeah, the thing works. Okay. I'll give it a pass then. But if you do reloads, that does illustrate a problem. That you do have to make sure that your chambers are absolutely clean. Well, how did the double tap shoot? With factory loads, bang, 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 one barrel shot very close to the point of aim. And this was braced, double-handed shooting. Now the other barrel placed the 3 shots up in here. I then changed and started shooting my reloads, and then that moved the group here for the bottom barrel and here for the top barrel. So there is a dispersion here of approximately 6 to 7 inches. It's not as bad as a 45 ACP was. Just to confirm, now this is our group exclusively shot with my reloads with a 125 grain bullet. And you see a group here, and two shots down here. Okay, but this again is the dispersion. And this group and this load was certainly softer shooting than the full factory loads, I guarantee you. I can't tell you what velocities and energies this thing was getting, because during the process of testing this pistol, a round took up my chronograph. Burr. I would suppose that if these are going full factory loads at something like 1100 feet per second, then these loads over here are going something like 800 feet per second in that range. So these are definitely less powerful, but these are really pleasant to shoot out of this gun. Now what this tells us, that you really got to shoot a gun enough to really know it and what its characteristics are. Also, when you shoot this pistol, the end of the trigger pull is very stiff indeed. And I found my trigger finger getting very, very tired. So what I had to do is actually pull it like this, and then put the other finger inside the trigger guard and use both to fire the pistol. Okay, interesting shooting technique. I can't say I've ever had to use this on another pistol in my entire life, but yeah. And when you release this trigger, make sure you release it all the way. If you do not, you cannot refire it. If you've got one, reload for it, lower the power of the loads down so you can actually shoot it, find out how it shoots and what its shooting characteristics really are with your particular gun. Because they may vary from gun to gun. After all, I only have one sample to test. For now, this is Hovey Smith, reminding you to hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. Be legal, be ethical, be safe, goodbye, God bless, and see you next time.
Among my prize-winning books are Extreme Muzzleloading, Backyard Deer Hunting, Crossbow Hunting, and Practical Bow Fishing, and these are available as softcover and e-books. I have an 8-book e-book series on muzzleloaders coming out for 2013-14, and Hunting Big and Small Game with Muzzleloading Pistols is the most recent title. In 9mm, the .350 round ball black powder load did not do it all well. However, the load of 8 grains of triple FG and the Remington full metal jacket bullet, now these were nice loads to shoot and did well. Also, the load of 3 grains of 700X did well. Now these may not cycle semi-automatic pistols, however. For more information on my books, blogs, and more than 300 videos, go to my website, www.hoveysmith.com. Good hunting and good eating from the outdoors. Goodbye, and God bless.